Come closer, child. Sit right here by me. Pull that blanket up if you like. The wind outside tonight. You hear that? That low, long moan through the gap under the door? Good. That's the right kind of night for what I'm about to tell you. Not a made-up tale, not something I read in a book. This happened to me. I was 19 years old, and it was Halloween night, 1974, the last Halloween I ever celebrated without looking over my shoulder. Back then, our town in upstate New York was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone. The maple trees lining Elm Street had already dropped their leaves, and the whole neighborhood smelled of wood smoke and damp earth. Kids ran door to door in their costumes, cowboys, witches, plastic vampire capes from the drugstore. You could hear their laughter echo off the pavement, high and bright as bells. And then it would fade as they moved further down the block, leaving behind something quieter, something still. My friend Dale and I had outgrown trick-or-treating, or so we told ourselves. We were 19, men, we thought. So instead, we decided to drive out to the old Renner property, an abandoned farmstead about 7 miles outside of town. Nobody had lived there since old Gerald Renner had his stroke in '68, and his family sold off the land to nobody in particular. The county owned it now, technically. We knew we weren't supposed to go. That, of course, was precisely the point. Dale had his father's Chevy pickup, rust along the wheel wells, but a good engine. I remember the radio was playing something by Creedence Clearwater Revival when we pulled off the county road and onto the gravel track that led up to the property. The headlights hit the old gate, iron hanging half off its hinges, and I felt the first small twinge of something I didn't want to name. I named it anyway, inside my head. I called it excitement, but looking back now, all these years later, no, that wasn't excitement. That was my body trying to warn me. We parked and killed the engine, and the silence that followed was not like ordinary silence. Ordinary silence, still has something in it. Crickets, a dog somewhere far off, the creek settling. This silence was full, stuffed with something invisible, something waiting, like the moment before a thunderclap when every hair on your arm stands up and your chest goes tight.
Dale laughed, too loud, the way people do when they're uneasy but refuse to show it, and climbed out of the truck. I followed, pulling my jacket tighter. It wasn't especially cold that night, but I was shivering. The farmhouse stood about 200 feet from where we parked, a dark shape against a sky that had gone deep purple gray, the moon hidden behind a mass of cloud. The windows were boards and nothing. The front porch had partially collapsed on the left side, the wood rotted through. A carved pumpkin someone had left at the base of the steps, old, sunken in on itself, black at the edges, grinned up at us with a crooked smile. We should have noticed then that someone had placed it there recently. The candle inside was out, but the wax was still soft. We went inside. The smell hit first. Not rot exactly, though that was part of it, but something underneath, something mineral and iron dark, like old pennies held in a closed fist. Dale swept his flashlight across the front room, faded floral wallpaper curling at the seams, a broken rocking chair, a calendar on the wall still showing October 1968. That hit me strange. Someone had left it turned to the right month, the right kind of month, all these years later. We moved deeper into the house, into the kitchen. The linoleum floor was cracked and heaved up in the corners, and Dale's flashlight caught something on the far wall, scratches in the plaster, long ones, like something had dragged its fingers or something like fingers down from ceiling height all the way to the baseboard, over and over. Dozens of lines, grouped in fours with a fifth crossing them, as if someone had been counting. I counted the marks. There were 112 sets. Neither of us spoke for a long moment. Dale cleared his throat. "Animal," he said. "Could have been an animal that got trapped in here." His voice had gone thin and unconvincing, the way voices do when the speaker is trying to persuade themselves rather than you. I didn't answer, because I had noticed something else. The scratches didn't start at the ceiling. They started at about shoulder height, human shoulder height, and at the bottom of each long groove there was a small dark stain in the plaster, something that had dried brown. We heard it then, from upstairs. Not a creak of the house settling, not a branch against a window. We were past talking ourselves into that. It was footsteps, slow, deliberate, crossing the floor above our heads from one end of the room to the other, and then stopping, directly above us. Dale grabbed my arm. I grabbed his back. The flashlight in his hand was trembling, or his hand was trembling, the beam skittering across the walls. Neither of us breathed. 1 second, 5 seconds, 10. Then the footsteps started again, back the other way, slower this time. We ran. I will not dress it up or pretend we did anything brave. We turned and we ran through that kitchen and through that front room and across that sagging porch and across the gravel and into the truck. And Dale had the engine running before I had the door fully closed. Gravel sprayed out behind the rear tires as we fishtailed back onto the county road, and neither of us looked back. But I did look in the side mirror. There was a figure standing at the edge of the tree line beside the gate, not moving, just standing, watching us go. And I will tell you this, it was not a person in a Halloween costume, not a silhouette with soft or human proportions. It was too tall and too still, and its arms hung at a wrong angle, slightly too far forward, like a marionette whose strings had been adjusted incorrectly. The headlights didn't reach it fully, but what I could see in the pale edge of that light, I have never stopped seeing. We didn't go to the police. What would we have said? Someone was standing in a field? We'd been trespassing. We were 19. We told each other it was a scarecrow or a hunter or a neighbor having a joke. We told each other this very convincingly for about 3 days. Then Dale stopped answering the phone. When I finally reached him a week later, his mother told me he'd been having trouble sleeping, that he kept getting up in the night to check the locks, that he'd asked her to take the mirror off the back of his bedroom door because he didn't want to see anything reflected in it when he woke up in the dark. I understood that completely because I had been doing the same thing. What I didn't tell Dale, what I never told anyone for 30 years, was what I saw in that side mirror just before the truck rounded the bend and the farm disappeared from view. The figure at the tree line, that tall, wrong-angled shape that I had been trying to convince myself was a scarecrow, it had turned its head to follow us. Not its body, just the head, turned all the way, and I mean all the way a head should not be able to turn. And even at that distance, even in that pale and insufficient light, even through a dirty truck mirror on a dark Halloween night 50 years ago, I could tell that it was watching me specifically. Not the truck, not Dale, me. The way you can always tell, even across a crowded room, across a parking lot, across any distance, when something's eyes are locked on yours. I moved away from that town the following spring. I've lived a good life. I married, I had children, grandchildren, you sitting right here beside me right now, and I am grateful for every ordinary, quiet, well-lit morning I have ever woken to. But every year when October comes around, when the leaves go rust and gold, and the air gets that particular cold edge to it, when the kids come to the door in their costumes and hold out their bags and say those two familiar words, I smile and I give them their candy, and then I close the door and I check the locks, every single one.